Hello again, farmers. I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Fendt Farm. As you can see, we're currently in the options screen here. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've got a PS4 Pro now. So, this is the new look option menu. It doesn't really change that much. Actually, I need to change that to 50 degrees. So this is the changes that we now have. We now have these options here at the top. So we have full HD, standard 2K, 1080p output, and we have two choices. We have render quality of normal, which is how it is on a regular PS4, and then we have the enhanced version, which gives it a little bit of a tune-up and basically just bumps that frame rate up just a touch to give a slightly smoother experience. And then we have the Quad HD, which is the 3K slash 1440p output. And of the three options that you're going to see, this is actually the best for frame rate performance. This will give you an almost perfect 60 frames per second. And then we have the Ultra HD, the 4K setting, the 2160p output. And this is obviously the highest graphical setting that you can go to. And I don't have options, as you can see, on the render quality on those two. I think that may possibly be because they don't have additional settings. It may also simply be because my TV will not output higher than 1080p. However, although I'm not going to see the performance difference if I go above this setting, that would be the best one that I can physically see on my TV, I am going to set it up for Quad HD for the 3K setting and hope that that will actually give me, the smoothest frame rate available. We'll see. We'll try it out, and I'm going to play about with this over the next sort of few episodes on this and on my other farms as well, and see if there is a noticeable difference between setting it up like this and seeing if I'm getting a really smooth improvement in frame rates, or whether I do actually need to go back down to full HD and then switch on the enhanced mode. So this is how I'm going to run it for now, and I will join you in just a second again back on the farm. So now we're back on the farm itself, and I need to update you as to exactly what's been going on with the farm. So obviously we've had some technical issues, which is why we now have a PS4 Pro instead of the original PS4. Now, it has also resulted in the loss of some footage that I had recorded and was hoping to bring to you as a future episode. And so, if we pull up the menu, what I did was I fertilized our fields here at the top of the map. They've all been fertilized, and they are now, at the next stages of fertilization. We just need to sort of put these through their final stage. So we have to let the crops grow a little bit more before we can put these up to stage 3. And we have our grass field over here as well. That is what we're going to be fertilizing. So gates are kind of jammed a little bit because of where the tractor was when we loaded the map up. They'll be fine in just a second. So what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to fertilize our grass. We're going to get this up to stage 3. We're going to do another round of silage bales to raise some extra cash, and we are going to sell those silage bales. And then once those bales are done, we're going to turn this into a beet field. Our pigs are starting to get hungry, so if we have a look at our animal map, or animal menu, you can see we are starting to run low on food for our pigs. Starting to run very low. So all of our productivities are registered at 0 at the moment. This is because we've just loaded into the farm. They will refresh themselves shortly. But as you can see, we are definitely running low. I don't really want to have to go out and buy more pallets of pig food. We may have to buy 1 or 2, but I would really like to avoid that if we can. So what I'd like to do is actually start, building up a supply of actual pig food. And to do that, we need a root crop. Now, straw, we have that covered. Corn, we've got some growing. Wheat and barley, we can easily grow some of that. That's not an issue. Canolas, sunflowers and soybeans, well, we actually have some sunflowers growing at the moment, so we're covered there. And then it comes to root crops, potatoes and sugar beets, and we don't have any of those at all. So we're going to actually put sugar beets down on this field and get them growing, and then harvest them, and we'll have some root crops for our pigs. So we need to raise some cash to do that as well. Now what I want to use is one of these mods. This one here, the root crop storage. So we can either store potatoes or sugar beets in here, one of the two. Now we need 90,000 euros to run one of these. And we don't have 90,000 euros. You can see we're 3,000 in debt. And if we look at our loan, which is here, you can see that we already have 265,000 taken out, so we can only take a maximum of another 35,000. It's not enough to be able to buy one of those. Plus, although we have a seeder and we don't have to worry about that, we don't have any equipment to be able to harvest said root crops, so we would have to lease some equipment. So we need money available for that as well. So that's why we're doing a round of silage bales, or we will be doing a round of silage bales. We will look to sell some of the crops that are growing. We'll probably look at selling off our soybeans that we still have in storage, and to help supplement our income, I'm actually going to take on a contract job as well. So field 35 is ready to harvest, so we are going to jump on and do this job here. If I can get it to actually give me a decent setup. This one will do 14,000. So we'll use this New Holland harvester combo. And there we go. So let's get harvesting and make some money. So yeah, it's been a little while since I used anything on this farm. As I said, the changeover from the old PS4 to the new PS4 has not been as smooth as I would have liked. I've had to, because I was concerned about potentially having a system failure and losing a lot of footage, I kind of cranked down, wound down a couple of video productions to help mitigate potential losses if there was a failure before I got my new system. So Fendt Farm was suspended temporarily, which is why you haven't seen an episode for a little while. Plus there was obviously that episode that did go missing. And I have also cancelled Sandy Bay. I decided to replace that, cancel that series outright. And shortly after I actually cancelled the series, I ended up starting Big Bud Farm, which is now live on the channel. The first couple of episodes are already up. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. Mustang Valley was finally released, and I decided to do a Big Bud themed farm on that map. But now hopefully we should be able to sort of crank things back up again. So we will have 4 farms still, and Sandy Bay is gone and has been replaced with Big Bud Farm. Massey Manor is still available, Fendt Farm is still available, and American Outback is of course still available as well. All of those are still producing videos for the channel. Now in terms of a release schedule, the downtime and the slowdown on other videos has given me the opportunity to reassess how my videos are released to you guys, and I have drawn up a brand new release schedule. So you may hear on a couple of other videos around the, being released around the same time as this, other plans, ignore those. This is the new plan for the videos, and it is 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday the 24th. This is the most up-to-date recording that I have. So, Mondays are going to be Massey Mondays. So, that series is going to one episode a week, and that will happen every Monday. Tuesdays will be Big Bud Farm. Wednesdays will be American Outback. Thursdays will be Big Bud Farm again. Fridays will be Fendt Farm, so Fendt Fridays. So this series will continue once a week on a Friday. Saturday we'll be going back to Big Bud Farm, and then Sunday we'll have a second episode of American Outback. Those are the two most popular farms at the moment, which is why they are going to be getting, extended playtime through the weeks. And if anything changes in terms of certain playlists, not working out, then we can look at maybe readdressing the release schedule in the future. But this is the way it's going to be for the meantime. So Massey Mondays, Big Bud Farm 3 times a week, American Outback twice a week, and Fendt Fridays. New Fendt Farm episodes every Friday. May possibly in the future look at doing double episodes for Massey Monday and double episodes for Fendt Friday, but for now it'll just be a single episode once a week. In terms of other games, as I said, today is Wednesday the 24th. I have just spent the last 12 hours doing a data transfer from my old PS4 to my new PS4 Pro, and the reason it took 12 hours to do that was because we had a power failure. Unfortunately, there was a power cut while I was transferring my data from my PS4 to my Pro. And it was a 7-hour job, 6 to 7 hour job to do, and I got down to about 80 minutes left to go, and there was a power cut, and boom, transfer stopped. And luckily, it doesn't look like anything has been damaged or destroyed or corrupted. It looks as though everything has transferred across properly, but what it did do is it reset the process. So I had to reinitialize the transfer from the beginning and start all over again. So yeah, I spent 5 hours or so waiting for it to go through, and then it stopped because of the power failure with about 80 minutes left to go, and then started it again and had to wait another 7 hours for it to transfer the 270 gig of data that was still on my old PS4 onto the new one, and I couldn't do anything until that happened. So today's been a very game-free day for me. I've just basically been watching Netflix all day, waiting for this thing to finally finish transferring data, so I can get back in and start recording some footage for you guys. But tomorrow I'm going to start finally my recording of the Tomb Raider series, and we're hoping to launch that on Friday in 2 days time. So this episode will go live on Friday the 26th, so in a little over 48 hours, well 48, that's 2 days plus half a day, so 56 hours or so, this video should be live. And hopefully around the same time Tomb Raider will be going live as well. So tomorrow I'm looking forward to sitting down and playing Rise of the Tomb Raider for the very first time, start recording my footage for that for you, and then launch that. We'll be putting quite a few episodes of that out each week for the first 10 episodes or so, So I'm going to run 3 days, an episode each day. Then it'll go to every other day until we've got 10 episodes up, and that might be it. I mean, we're just going to run the campaign, and that's all we're going to run. So it might only run 10 episodes. I penciled 10 into my release schedule for now. Obviously, I will run it to its conclusion, but I wouldn't have thought it would take more than 15 episodes to run the entire campaign. So, having talked about bringing Tomb Raider to the channel for ages, that will finally be happening this week. Once I made the decision to get a Pro, I figured it would be easier just to wait until I actually have it and everything is set up. And I'm curious as well as to whether or not I'm going to have the option for enhanced visuals using the boost function. So I'll be playing about with that tomorrow. I'll get some sleep once I've recorded a couple of episodes tonight, and then tomorrow I will sit down and I will start playing and recording Tomb Raider. And I'm really excited for that game. You know, I was a massive fan of the reboot that came out a few years back on the PS3. Really enjoyed it, so much so that when I got myself my PS4, that was about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago when I got my PS4. One of the first things I did was to buy a second-hand copy of Tomb Raider because I really enjoyed it and I wanted to play it in the new crisp, shiny PlayStation 4, you know, 1080p graphics, as opposed to the 720p PlayStation 3 settings. And I really enjoyed it again. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this. And mine is the 20th anniversary edition. Obviously, when Tomb Raider was released, it was only available on Xbox One for the first year of its release. Microsoft signed an exclusivity deal with Square, which really really upset the Tomb Raider community, because the franchise started on PlayStation, and it felt like a real kick in the nuts to a lot of PlayStation gamers that the franchise had been an exclusive for PlayStation when it began, and had stayed exclusive for quite some time, and then went multi-format when they rebooted the franchise, and then when they do the sequel, you know, Rise of the Tomb Raider, they made it Xbox exclusive for the first year, and that felt like a huge kick in the nuts. But obviously, when Sony got the opportunity to publish it for PS4, it just so happened to coincide with the 20th anniversary of the original Tomb Raider. So we now get the all singing, all dancing 20th anniversary edition, complete with all the DLC bundled in for, you know, the same price that Xbox users bought the base game itself for. So we've waited an extra year to get our hands on it, but we're getting, you know, everything as opposed to just the base game for the same price. So I'm okay with that, you know. I'm quite happy to do that, and of course I took advantage of this as part of the Easter sale as well. So I only paid 20 quid for this, as opposed to the 45 that it would normally have cost. So yeah, I had to wait an extra year to be able to get my hands on it, and then once it did come out, I waited for it to come out on sale, and then got it for basically less than half price. I think I've done quite well out of that. Anyway, enough of Tomb Raider. No Man's Sky is still going. I've scheduled that for a run of another 10 episodes or so. I think we're going to go to 30 episodes and then reassess once we hit episode 30. Prison Architect is winding down. The last episode went live on Tuesday, and at the moment I have no plans to run further episodes on that. So I think that has now pretty much run its course. We may go back and revisit Prison Architect at a later date, but for now that one has kind of run its course. Flame in the Flood is still going. I'm not expecting this to be a particularly long run on this game. You know, it is one of those sort of procedurally generated games to see how high you can get, and if you die, you die, and you have to restart from the beginning. So I'm currently on my second attempt because my first attempt died at the end of the first episode, gored to death by a wild boar. It was very, very brutal, very, very painful, and very disheartening. But I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and at the start of episode 2 we continue with a brand new run, and then the series is carrying on from there. So that's still going. Don't know how many episodes that will probably run for. Probably 10 episodes, and when that hits 10, that might be the end of that series, and we'll look to move on to another little mini game. I want to bring Limbo onto the channel in the not too distant future, and there are some of the little mini network games I am looking at as well for future content. But they will all be sort of released alongside the farming sim videos. Yeah, the plan has always been to make this primarily a farming sim channel, but not a solely dedicated farming sim channel. I do play other stuff other than this, although sometimes you wouldn't believe that given the amount of hours that I actually spend on this game. So I wanted to be able to bring some other games to the channel as well. One of the games I've been playing in my own time recently is Batman, the Return to Arkham series. The remastered versions of the PlayStation 3 games, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. I picked those up on sale. When I got my discount code, that came through finally. And so the pack was on sale, reduced down from its usual 30 down to 15, and then I used my discount voucher, which I was due from the March £50 qualification spend. I was supposed to get that voucher in April. I got it right at the very, very end of April, and then a few days later, after I'd got that, you know, Batman popped up on sale, so I got that effectively for a £5. So, so I wasn't going to say no to that. I actually picked it up at the same time as I picked up the Flame in the Flood. So I picked up the Flame in the Flood, the Return to Arkham pack, which is 2 full AAA games for the PS3 that have been remastered. Both of those plus Flame in the Flood, and I spent $11.50 in total. That was it for those 3 games. Yeah, it was a real bargain that day. And I've been playing Arkham Asylum in my sort of spare time, and remembering just how much I loved that game when it came out on the PS3. So who knows, maybe I might sneak a little bit of Batman footage onto the channel once Tomb Raider's done. I think what I probably will do though is, I've had a copy of Uncharted 4 on my hard drive waiting to be played for a couple of months now. I think I will probably replace Tomb Raider, or once Tomb Raider runs its course, we'll replace that with Uncharted 4, because I'd really like to try that game. It has been sat waiting for me to play it. Well, in terms of performance, I haven't noticed any slowdown issues on this, but this isn't one of those farms that generates a lot of lag. The real test, I think, of the improved resolutions for this game is going to be when I play on Mustang Valley, when I play on American Outback, when I use that Big Bud DLC. Those are going to be the real tests as to how much of an improvement we're going to be getting with those with those new graphic options that we have. So we're definitely looking forward to trying out American Outback with those new settings. I might record some footage of that tomorrow as a test, just to see what it looks like, see if it improves the frame rates at all, and then watch it back just as a test footage rather than actual an episode footage. We'll see. I might just load up the game, do some work, not save, quit out, and then watch back the footage and see if it does improve the slowdown and the lag that map seems to generate. Well, we are nearly 3/4 of the way through this field. Our worker will be finished on field 33. You can see he's kind of parked up there waiting at the edge of the field. Try and get you some artsy shots of the combine. We're a little bit offline there. Let's try and, there we go. Straighten her up a touch. So yeah, we are, what, 3/4 of the way through this field now, so definitely closing in on completion of this job. We'll easily do it within the allotted time that was given to us. So this will be an extra 14,000 for the job, plus whatever time bonus we get as well. Definitely need that money. We are going to have to lease a bale wrapper again. So what I might do is I might actually cut a load of grass on some of our other fields as well. Get all that baled and do a really big round of silage bales. And rather than making you watch me spend 2 or 3 episodes mowing and tethering, well, not tethering, mowing and rowing and baling and wrapping, rather than making you watch 3, 4, 5, even 6 episodes of that as I go through all the different grass fields, I might just do a fair chunk of that off camera, or do it in stages, so you see some mowing, some rowing and baling, some wrapping and then selling, and maybe do that over 2 episodes rather than 3 or 4, 5 or 6. But that will give us a nice healthy cash injection as well, enough to be able to buy the placeable mod that we need to give us the storage. I think we may possibly need to do more than just field 33 for root crops as well. I honestly have no idea how many beets we'll get off that field. We might get a lot, we might get hardly any at all. We'll certainly get enough to feed our pigs, because we don't have many pigs. But in terms of an overall total, I don't know how much we'll get. It might be that it will take multiple harvests on that field to generate a decent enough stockpile that we can actually look at selling some beets. We'll see. We'll see how we do after a single harvest on that field. Kind of feels a little bit weird, but also kind of good to be back in the CR1090. Haven't used this combine for a while. I haven't played on Sandy Bay for a while. That series has been scrapped as well, so we won't be playing on that farm ever again. The file itself is gone. I've uninstalled the map to free up space for future mods. And we don't use this harvester on any of our other farms. So, obviously we have a Fendt harvester on this farm, on American Outback, and Big Bud. We're using the largest of the case combines, and we're using a Massey, obviously, on Massey Manor. So, yeah, it feels kind of weird, but almost, kind of good as well to be back in one of these CR1090s. Old faithful, largest combine in the game, so it is one that is often used. And I may actually, because American Outback is my sort of American themed farm, so it's not just case, but case dominated. I am going to be probably introducing Challenger into that. Something I've been talking about since day one is perhaps bringing Challenger into that. I was thinking about bringing a lot of Big Bud into that map, but decided I'm probably just going to stick with a single 450, and I won't introduce the 747 to American Outback. What I may do is, because Big Bud Farm is a farm with huge fields, what I may do is break away from case on that farm, because initially my plan was to have as much Big Bud equipment as possible, so try and use Big Buds purely as just as much as possible in terms of anything that needed a tractor we would try and use a Big Bud to do. And then I was going to use the case combine, the 9230, I think it is. That was the initial plan, but I may, when it comes to actually upgrading my combine, because I'm starting with the medium case, that's the one that we get to start with. When it comes to upgrading that, I may actually go for one of these, a CR1090, now that we actually have got rid of Sandy Bay. It'd be quite nice to get this combine back onto the channel. So there's a Fendt Farm exclusive for you. That's something I hadn't even thought about until I was using it to do this job right now. So oh, look at that, we're just short of being able to complete with a flourish there. We're going to have a little thin strip left over. I mean, we're not even going to make it halfway down the field before this job finishes, but it would have been nice if we'd been able to finish with a perfect run like that. We're just a little bit too short. There we go. So 14 grand for the job, another 4,000 as a time bonus. And that makes our finances look a little bit healthier. We have just under 15,000 euros. We have another 35 available to us, so that's 50 effectively. All of a sudden our finances are definitely looking healthier. So we have a little under 10 minutes of the episode left. There's one other thing as well that I was looking at, and that is the Rumbler van. Now, this was finally released as well about a week ago, or just under a week ago. And I was really excited when I found out that we were getting one of these, because I thought this is going to be perfect for Fendt Farm. It's going to be perfect for me to stick my pallets of wool into the van, and then I can use that to ferry them to the shops to sell. It was a great plan on paper. However, it doesn't work. I actually tested it a couple of days ago just to see whether or not it would work, and the pallets don't fit in the Rumbler. So disappointed. I really hoped that I could load this up with 2 or 3 different wall pallets and then just use it to ferry those down to the sell point. And unfortunately, like I said, the wall pallets are too big. We can't do it. So really disappointed about that. That was something I was really looking forward to being able to do, and you know, I would have bought a Rumbler van and used it on this farm had that option, you know, worked. But like I said, I tested it before I bought one, and I'm glad I did, because those pallets are just too big. They do not fit. So, bit of a shame there. Really disappointed by that. But c'est la vie. There's not a lot we can do. You know, if the pallets are just too big and they won't fit, there's not a lot we can do about that. So at least we found that out before we spent 70,000 to buy one of those vans for the farm, to find out that it is effectively useless on this farm. Because, you know, I don't run pallets. I mean, if I wasn't going to be feeding the pigs with, you know, crop, if I was just going to be using pig pallets to feed the pigs, then that would be different. I could actually feed pallets in the back of that and do that, but unfortunately I can't. So can't use it the way I wanted it to, so it won't be getting used. And there's no need to have a van to run around on the fields on this. It's a small enough map. We can either do it in a tractor or on foot. So we're going to take our little 300 Vario back to the other farm, the you know, the grain farm, I suppose we should call it. We're going to get everything cleaned and washed and put away, and then that's probably going to be it for this episode. So it's going to be probably a little bit shorter than initially planned. But actually, no, we don't need to put this away, because we still need to do one final stage of fertilisation, don't we? On fields 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 8. Those two combination fields there still have one final stage of fertilisation to go, as does our grass for that matter. So I think what I'll do is we'll speed time up, and then in the next episode we will refertilise those fields, get them finished off, and then we can just accelerate through to harvesting time. We may even take on another contract job as well. Alright, so there we go. Let's see, are there any eggs for me to collect? I think I may have already collected them. It looks as though I have already collected the eggs. Yeah. Oh, there's one. Alright, so how many eggs do I have in my backpack? Let's have a look. Eggs in backpack, 131. I'll tell you what, just to finish the episode off, because we've got all these eggs, let's go sell them. So the egg sell point is in the town area, down by the store. Probably should have disconnected the weeder, but I'd like to just go straight from the store back to our fields. I'll tell you what, in fact, let's drop the weeder just here. There we go. That'll make things a little bit easier for us as we drive through the town area. I've just noticed our tractor's looking a little bit thirsty as well, so we're going to have to give him a bit of a top-up at some point in the very near future. We're okay right now. But we are going to be, hitting the red line pretty soon. I'm not expecting to get much of these eggs at all. A couple of hundred maybe. It won't be a lot. But who knows? Maybe it'll surprise me. Maybe I'll get quite a nice big chunk of money for my eggs. So, if I remember rightly... Oh, there it is. There's the sell point. I actually thought it was a bit further down and around the corner, but this will do. So, how much money do we get? 746 euros. That's actually not too bad for 130 eggs. That's not too bad at all. I thought we would get less than that. So I'm slightly happy about that, I suppose. It's it's nothing, isn't it? 700 euros is nothing. So not really sure how to react to yes, we got more money than we expected, but it's still a pittance. There's not really much you can say about that, is there? Anyway, so we're going to head back and hook back up to our weeder, and then in the next episode we will do the final round of fertilisation once time has been sped forward. Get those crops to full status. We'll go and redo the grass field as well, and then we'll be ready to harvest and make some more money. So thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other videos. As I say, Tomb Raider should be live today as you're watching this video, so go ahead and check out that. It's going to be a bit different to the Let's Plays that you see on this. There's going to be a lot less commentary from me, as I kind of just sit back and get engrossed in the game and the storyline. So check that out. You can also check out Flame in the Flood. No Man's Sky is still going. You can always drop by and check that one out as well. And as always, you can reach me on my Facebook page as well, www.facebook.com/JimBobPlaysGames. Oh, and if you bookmark the channel, I now have a new custom URL, so you can now find me on YouTube at youtube.com/c/JimBobPlaysGames. So, thank you for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on the farm very soon.